The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is May 22nd, 2019, episode 140. And this week, we tried to tell you. My name's Basil.
We tried to tell you. And this is Gonz. Yeah, it all makes sense in a moment. This is the podcast where we talk about other news with Canary Cry views. Hey, we matched the number of Canary Cry radio episodes with this 140. And
we did it. We caught up.
Yeah, and I'd like to say May 22nd, happy birthday to my beautiful bride, Erin.
Oh, good job, Erin, being born and staying born. We all appreciate it. And okay, so jumping in real quick, Gonz, I want to tell you, we didn't have a Flippy update last week, but we have a Flippy update this week.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. And for those who don't know who Flippy is, he's our adorable disembodied robot arm that is taking all of our jobs this week. Coming from futurism.com, this robot bludgeons you while boxing. This robot bludgeons you with boxing gloves while you play games. When you're plugged into a good virtual reality experience, you might talk about how it, quote, feels real. That's apparently not good enough for engineer James Britton, who built a robot to punch him while he brawls with a virtual automaton in a VR game. The setup isn't commercially available. The game and robot were custom made, The Verge reports, but it represents an impressive attempt to bring virtual reality to life. That's right, Gonz. First they flipped burgers, then they made fries. Now they punch you.
They punch
for fun,
yeah.
For sport.
For sport, yeah. And some of the 3D models they have are pretty intense, but the robot itself, the physical robot that hits you, it could do some damage if you if you get a punch caught in your face the wrong way or something.
No. I mean, this is two very powerful, strong-looking robot arms with punching gloves, boxing gloves on the end, and standing right in front of a man wearing a blindfold, basically, with his VR headset on. And so I think this is moving us into, this is either training the robot how to defeat humans in one-on-one hand-to-hand combat, or a good way for humans to train themselves how to battle the robots.
You know what
in
this
hand-to-hand combat.
This is Flippy has been weaponized.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Flippy has been weaponized. This is no longer Flippy. Now he's Punchy.
Changing.
Punchy's coming for you, everybody.
It's a branch race that came off an offshoot of Flippy's. They turned violent. The Punchies.
No, I'm totally into this. I'm totally into sparring with a robot. I need to. Maybe we'll do that on our Twitch channel.
Oh, yeah. That
would be good.
Okay.
That would be good.
All right.
Oh, I figured out a way I can keep my anonymity on Twitch.
Oh yeah, that's good.
It may be a problem, but I could just wear a VR headset. I could play VR.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, they're big blindfolds. Nobody will be able to facial recognize me.
You can decorate it.
Yeah, good addition there, Gonz. Okay, so there you go. Punchy coming to a gamer near you.
Excellent.
To their face.
I tried to tell you. It's chaos. It's a mess. I tried to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen. Do y'all hear me now?
Love the new jingle.
Yep.
Now, Gonz, tell me the story behind that, because that's a sports guy thing,
Yeah,
right?
it's a sports guy, and he went on a rant this week, and I think that's what he's paid to do. But basically, he went on this crazy rant.
Kind of like us.
Yeah, but I made a version of it, full minute and 20-second version that the extended report people can check out. But it's it was. I just took out the context, what the sports teams and people he was referencing, and it's just a beautiful representation of how we feel deep inside as we talk about things happening tomorrow.
It's true. Over the years, we continue to come back to, we tried to tell you.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of them.
Yeah,
for sure. So this is theverge.com. and it was shared around when it came out. This AI-generated Joe Rogan fake has to be heard to be believed. The most realistic AI voice clone we've heard. AI isn't just creating fake photos and videos. It can do fake voices too. Up until now, these voices have been noticeably stilted and robotic, but researchers from AI startup Dessa have created what is by far the most convincing voice clone we've ever heard, perfectly mimicking the sound of MMA commentator turned podcaster Joe Rogan. And I got a couple clips here. Let me play this first one.
Hey, Joe Rogan, it's me, Joe Rogan. Please come save me, man. These artificial intelligence guys have trapped me in a machine.
And this one's
That's
a little
good.
longer here.
I've never told this story before, but on Thanksgiving weekend, I was doing a set at the Comedy Store, and some idiot ran up on stage. He comes up to me during the middle of my set and tells me that we are in a simulation. The guy was drunk out of his mind. He was so drunk that he couldn't stand up straight. So we all laughed at him and let security escort him out. But now that we have deep fakes and fake voices, I'm starting to believe that we're not far off from simulations after all.
And there you go.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, and this we've talked about this before, but we're getting to the point where you're not going to be able to believe what you see or you hear anymore. This is a great example. Now, admittedly, this AI Joe Rogan,
You can tell.
doesn't sound exactly like the real Joe Rogan, just in the way that he talks, but it sounds like a real Joe Rogan, a lo-fi Joe Rogan who's reading.
That's the thing I was thinking. Really low quality MP3s start to have a similar quality to what it's interesting because, for us, that's a downgrade, like a degrading of audio quality. But for the AI, it's like, it's rising, it's kind of creepy when you think about which direction that's going.
Yeah, well, and as we've talked about in the past, in this time now where they can deep fake voices, Joe Rogan's a good test.
Yeah, he's got
guinea pig.
a huge data bank of himself talking.
Archives of thousands of hours of him talking. And so you can, that's what you train the AI on. And it's similar for us. We've said long ago that if something comes out of me saying something completely crazy, I mean, it's about 50-50 chance if it was actually me or
50-50
or somebody creating an AI to, I don't know why they would want to bother with me, but that would be a good way to do it.
Yeah.
And this goes for any individual who has a lot of voice recordings available to the public. I mean, any president, any public figure, newscasters, everything like that. And this is a real danger in the world of fake news.
Right. Yeah. The company stated that, quote, clearly the societal impacts for technologies like speech synthesis are massive, and the implications will affect everyone, poor consumers and rich consumers, enterprise and governments. So they're even saying like, hey, this is pretty powerful technology that can fool a lot of people. So, I really don't think the fake news thing that really, came into view in the last elections, it's just going to get worse in this weird, like quasi, and not just like, not for like a political purpose either. Like somebody can just be doing it for mockery reasons or just for fun or whatever, and somebody can take it as real news or something. So, I mean, it's the whole, being drowned with information. This is gonna definitely, add to the massive overflow that people are about to experience as we go on here with the internet.
Here's a block quote that I find interesting. Fake AI voices could be used for misinformation, but they could also improve technology. As if technology is simply improving technology is like a voice is a goal in its own.
It's like a calling. It's a moral duty.
Right.
Yeah.
Stop this progress.
Stop this progress.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
And so, yeah, they're saying the benefits of this. Well, it says right here, the company notes that there are benefits as well. These include the creation of more realistic AI assistants. Great, please, more
AI.
Quicker and more accurate dubbing for TV and film. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
And designing realistic, personalized synthetic voices for individuals with speech impairments. That's an interesting one. Actually, my grandmother, before she passed, had a little text to speech
like a Stephen Hawking
device. No, it was almost like the type of thing that you learned to type on in elementary school.
Mhm.
The little, like, I don't know, it was like an iPad before there were iPads, but it had a real keyboard, and you'd type into it and it would speak what you typed. And it was really the only way that she could communicate at the end of her life. But it was a weird robot, and I believe it was a man's voice, which was odd. Grandma had
All
a
kinds of
robot man's
weird
voice.
psychological things happened for you there.
Yeah, it was not the best. So I could see that being a definite bonus to this type of thing. But is it worth the trade-off with the complete disintegration of trust
For anything, yeah.
in what you can see or hear?
Or at least this is making people value the in-person experience a little bit more, hopefully.
Yeah, well, here's the good news is by the time I'm a ripe old age of 199 years old and I somehow lose the ability to speak, they're going to have quite the database to recreate my voice.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, except for, as I don't know, the way I talk on the show is not quite how I always talk in real
Walking
life,
around.
especially if I'm just tired or in the morning and whatever, talking about something, and now it'll be like, hey, good morning.
Good morning,
Your buddy
guys.
Basil here.
Yeah, you've definitely developed your sort of radio voice. It just kind of naturally it's become a part of you on air.
It's part of the fun.
Yeah, but okay, so we are going to value the in flesh sort of encounters more and more, but that's even that we won't be able to trust as much.
'Cause I'm DNA.
WXYZ.com Detroit scammer asking for DNA, targets elderly in Macomb County.
Yeah.
Macomb County, Michigan. The Macomb County Sheriff's Office is investigating a local scam involving DNA. An elderly Harrison Township man reported to deputies that he received a knock at his door from someone telling him that they had been sent by his doctor's office to collect his DNA and have documents signed. The elderly man called his doctor and confirmed the office did not send anyone out to his home and learned it was not a normal practice at the office. Deputies urged neighbors not to allow strangers into their home and not avoid giving out what? And avoid. I think it's supposed to be avoid. I think there might be a typo in this. And not
It was written by an AI.
Yeah, it slipped in the fake thing there. And not avoid giving out any personal information in person, over the phone, or via unofficial paperwork. Residents should know that DNA is collected in a medical facility or is court-ordered. It is not normal to have someone ask for your DNA.
That is so creepy because I don't know what is going on where this guy would benefit from scamming some DNA out of this elderly gentleman.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have a couple different scenarios, right? So one is that it's somebody that wants, is suspicious or has some kind of prior knowledge surrounding this, that this guy is maybe related to him or something. And, there's no other way to get him to test his DNA. So, because, that could be going on because they want to find out family stuff, and he's not cooperating on the surface. So he's got to be scammed. Yeah. The other one, much more nefarious. Maybe wanting to
maybe
clone
he was
him.
a war hero and they want to get some black ops, black budget government arm wants to get his DNA to clone him for super soldiers.
Yeah, or maybe if he was a part of it before, get a update on the system, see how it's working. Or
if he's a long running experiment.
Right. Yeah, they need to. He got a little out of hand, so they need to kind of not curate. What's the word?
This old man is getting out of hand. Elmer's getting out of hand.
This elderly man, yeah. But poor guy too. He probably had no idea what was going on. But good for him for calling the deputy's office and or at least trying to find out, or calling the doctor's office and verifying it.
The elderly are constantly
more diligent.
a target for scammers. Just speaking on scams, this has nothing to do with DNA,
right.
But it could move into the voice deep fake thing.
Yeah.
My grandpa gets calls about every 3 months, somebody pretending to be me and saying that I'm in jail and I need him to send me bail money.
So is it like, how does he not recognize your voice? Do they have someone sound like you?
It's a couple different ones. One of them was, they're like, Grandpa, it's me. I have a cold and I'm in jail. And, luckily my grandpa, he's 94, but he's sharp as a tack. And he at least knows to call my cell phone first or call my dad or something to see if I'm actually in jail.
I could imagine that phone call. Hey, did you just leave a message from jail?
Yeah, it's happened like 5 times. It happens all the time. And so luckily now that one's not going to work on him. But I think I've mentioned it before. This would be a case where, if somebody did a deep fake of my voice and made it convincing enough, then maybe, you could talk him out of giving me a call or my dad a call first.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know.
More the technology gets smarter.
Man, scammers.
Well, that's where a lot of the cutting edge of this stuff will be seen as scams,
Yeah. Speaking of scams. Speaking of it.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
This is dailymail.co.uk, our favorite
accurate news source.
Favorite. They have 15.9 million likes on Facebook, so it must be true. Big Brother Britain, extraordinary moment. Police fine pedestrian £90 for disorderly behavior after he tries to cover his face from facial recognition camera on the streets of London. They've totally given up trying to shorten these headlines now. This headline is like a full paragraph. Yep. Police fined a pedestrian £90 for disorderly behavior after he tried to cover his face when he saw a controversial facial recognition camera on the street of London. Officers set up the camera on a van in Rumford, East London, which then cross-checked photos of faces of passers-by against a database of wanted criminals. But one man was unimpressed about being filmed and covered his face with his hat and jacket before being stopped by officers who took his picture anyway. After being pulled aside, the man told police, "If I want to cover my face, I'll cover me face." I'm not going to do it. For London listeners, I'm not going to do it. Don't push me over when I'm walking down the street.
Ooh, he got pushed over?
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're,
getting physical?
Those London cops, man, they're physical.
Yeah.
I think they carry guns now, but for a while they didn't carry guns, so they had to really strong-arm people. It comes just weeks after it was claimed the new technology incorrectly identified members of the public in 96% of matches made between 2016 and 2018. So not only it's worse than a coin flip on whether this thing can actually verify the identity of somebody. The cameras have been rolled out in a trial in parts of Britain, with the Met making its first arrest last December when shoppers in London's West End were scanned. But their use has sparked a privacy debate, the civil liberties group Big Brother Watch branding the move a breach of fundamental rights to privacy and freedom of assembly. Police argue that they are necessary to crack down on spiraling crime. Officers previously insisted people could decline to be scanned before later clarifying that anyone trying to avoid scanners may be stopped and searched. Then it goes into a little bit of the history of these things, and it's quite a long article, so I might skip it. But there you go. It's you can hide your face, but you might get a couple bruises if you do so.
Yeah, that's not cool. I mean, there's no freedom there.
And it says here, the man was fined £90 at the scene by officers, and they also arrested 3 other people during the day thanks to the technology. I like that. Thanks to the technology, 3 people got arrested, and it's probably about 96% wrong that they arrested legit people.
So at least 3 out of the 4 they grabbed was wrong.
I like this guy. Look, so they have kind of a transcript. After being stopped, he asked an officer, "How would you like it if you walked down the street and someone grabbed your shoulder? You wouldn't like it, would you?" The officer told him, "Calm down, or calm yourself down. You're going in handcuffs. It's up to you. Wind your neck in." But the man replied, "You wind your neck in." After being fined, the man told the reporter, "The chap told me down the road, he said they've got facial recognition, so I walked past it like that, covering my face." And then there you go. That's the exciting part. But yeah, this guy was not taking any guff.
I don't know how I'd feel about. I would probably do something similar if I knew I was walking by some weird van with like a facial recognition thing going on. I'd either
totally
not walk by or try to be very like, hey, I don't want this scanning my face. But then I can totally see like that whole what do you have to hide? How do we know that you're not a criminal?
Exactly.
In our 96% wrong database matching system. Oh man.
Yeah.
Is that
But there you go. He got a fine for covering his face. That is that's a huge blow to those of us who are wary of the facial recognition being used in law enforcement in general.
Yeah, not going in the, and maybe this is an example of why we reported on a story a couple weeks ago that they banned it, right, in California, I think in San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah. So maybe we won't see stuff like this up there, at least not out in public.
Yeah, who knows? You never know. Well, the problem is, they're getting so good at making these cameras so inconspicuous that, it probably already happens several times a day and you just have no idea.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
You got to start wearing a fake beard.
Yeah, well, yeah. Or the police dogs, maybe the police dogs can be cloned or something. Like my transition.
That was good.
It's you, bro.
Little baby dog.
Little baby dog, yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it you?
Oh, this is
it's
me.
You.
Oh.
I'm waiting for you.
Sorry. Futurism.com. China clones top police dog with the goal of mass production.
What? Mass production of dogs?
Yeah, we talked about it before. They took the most expensive, cutest dog in the world, and they were trying to clone it and sell the clones for $14,000 a piece.
Right.
We covered that about 6 months ago. But today, Chinese officials cloned a top-performing police dog, state media announced, with the goal of stamping out genetically identical dog cops.
Oh,
okay.
Stamping out?
Stamping out. I think they mean more like, mass production.
Yeah.
Like you would stamp metal,
right.
I guess.
That's a bad choice of words because it sounds like stamping out. It could be, they're getting rid of it.
Yep. The pup, named Kunzun, is a clone of the Sherlock Holmes of police dogs, according to Reuters. She's just started police dog training to see whether the original dog's aptitude for drug detection and crowd control have carried over. Kunzun was born in December in an experiment carried out by Sinojin Biotechnology and Yunnan Agricultural University and supported by the government. It's a genetic copy of a 7-year-old dog named Huahuangma that won accolades as a first-class meritorious dog for good boy, otherwise known as a good boy. For investigating homicide cases. Per Chinese state-run paper Global Times, tests show that Kunzun's DNA is 99.9% identical to Huahuangma's. To the Chinese government, the project comes down to money. Training a regular police dog in China costs the equivalent of $60,000, according to the Global Times, and takes up to 5 years. If the experiment's a success, the goal is mass production of cloned police dogs. And also the main storyline of my worst nightmares.
Well, that and plus, like, the reason for it is so weak. Like, we don't have the not just the money, but like the time. We just need to make things easier. Just clone them.
You know what I like about this, though? They're not trying to hide behind some sort of medical reason like we do,
or even moral
in the West.
reason, really. Like, they're not trying to say like,
no. Yeah. No, they're, over here they would say, oh, we're cloning top police dogs so that we can figure out how to cure dog cancer.
Right. There's always
But
some
over there they're
positive
just
spin.
like, nope, it's just way cheap. Cloning a dog
It's
is way cheaper.
It's probably easier to train. We can weed out the ones that don't belong in the academy. All the, the big list of dogs that couldn't make it. I'm sure there's a lot of them.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Says Chinese president.
Fake news.
Whatever is it. No, it's both hilarious
and
because
terrifying.
we see this. Yeah, we see this coming out of China quite a bit. Actually, I think the dog clones, I don't know what you call them, non-professional dog clones from Japan. I think those were from Japan, not China.
Right.
But there you go. And it seems amongst all the debate about cloning human beings, I remember when we were younger, the same debate that we're having about human beings, we were having about animals. Like when they cloned the sheep.
The sheep, yeah.
It was a big uproar. And now that the conversation has moved over to human beings, nobody even bats an eye at cloning animals anymore.
Yeah, it's true. I remember when the cloning story came out. I think I was in elementary school. Yeah. I remember my teachers talking about it. So yeah, we were definitely implanted with this sort of like almost like a self-fulfilling thing, it's all crazy science fiction, but then it's all happening. And
that's right.
The amount of articles coming out, it's almost like it's making it happen.
It's making it happen. So speaking of making it happen, Gons, when we do the extended report today, which you can find over at patreon.com/CCNT. Now, here's the thing, folks. I'm just going to be honest. We have not gotten a new Patreon supporter. Well, that's not true. We've gotten a couple recently, but since 2019, our overall Patreon supporters have declined. And I totally understand. Sometimes just throwing money at a couple podcasters you listen to every week is not in the budget. But if you find it in your heart and you find it in the budget, consider tossing us a couple bucks every month. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can both feed a couple of podcasters and their dependents, like children or cats. But also, you get double the Canary Cry News Talk every single week with our extended reports. And this week, Gons, you're going to play the full version of the I Tried to Tell You jingle, which is about a minute and a half and incredibly entertaining. We're also going to be talking about NASA's new deep space mission. We're going to be talking about telescopic contact lenses that we actually mentioned that a couple of years ago, but they are closer to reality than ever. And we're going to give some updates on the blockchain. And maybe a little bit of 2023andMe and maybe some Putin lasers. I don't know. We'll see how much time we have. But it's going to be a fun show. So if you could find it in your heart or in your wallet, I would consider it a personal favor. And Gons and I get all the warms and fuzzies when people go over to patreon.com/CCNT and support the show and tune in to the extended reports. So please go do that. But if supporting the show financially is not in your budget, here's what you can do to support the show. It's just as good, just as warm and fuzzies. If you grab your friends by the heads and shake it, let them know where to get their news.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
I tried to tell you, but nobody wanted to listen.
That's right. You can, on any podcast that you have that you like, maybe it's this episode, maybe it's a different episode, just hit the share button and send it, text it to your friends. Have them take a look at the show and get woke in the best possible way. But
no, we did not use that language on this podcast.
I'm just triggering everybody to share the show.
Making everybody mad.
So we'll see you over on the extended report. Make sure to tune in next week to Canary Cry News Talk. But until then, think outside the cage.